lowest point I had was when it was my first divorce, because my children were quite young, and that sense of failure overcomes you.
At 79, Johnny Carson's sudden passing shocked the globe, but what followed was even more chilling. Unseen footage, long concealed, has emerged, unveiling the haunting truths of Carson's life. Thanks to his daughter's bravery, secrets once buried are now exposed for all to see. Watch the entire video to know how exactly his life is. From his early days in the spotlight to the final moments of his illustrious career, Carson was a man of many faces, loved by millions, yet truly known by few. The unseen footage reveals a side of Carson that the world was never meant to see. Tales of personal struggles, undisclosed affairs, and private battles fought far from the prying eyes of the public. The entertainment world has seen its fair share of feuds, but few are as intriguing as the one that unfolded between Johnny Carson, the king of late-night TV, and Wayne Newton, the celebrated Vegas performer. This high-profile spat highlights the complexities of celebrity interactions and the powerful impact of media portrayal. The origins of the conflict trace back to 1980, when Carson, eyeing an expansion into the business world, attempted to acquire the Aladdin Hotel Casino in Las Vegas. However, the deal fell through, and a group led by Wayne Newton swooped in to purchase the property. The media's portrayal of Carson as having lost to Newton added salt to the wound, leading to a public display of animosity that captivated their audiences. Feeling slighted by the portrayal of the events, Carson took to his television platform, incorporating jokes about Newton into his nightly monologues. These jokes targeted Newton's painstakingly curated masculine image, an effort that had taken years to establish. Carson's jibes were not just personal digs but struck at the very essence of Newton's public persona, igniting a feud that would last for years. Wayne Newton's frustration with Carson's relentless jibes reached a boiling point, prompting him to make a public declaration on Larry King Live. Newton characterized Carson as mean-spirited and accused him of causing harm to many individuals away from the public eye. He detailed his confrontation with Carson, a dramatic encounter that underscored the depth of his grievances. In a bold move, Newton confronted Carson at the NBC studios, threatening physical violence if the jokes did not cease. This confrontation marked a pivotal moment in their feud, demonstrating Newton's refusal to be a passive target. Carson, unfazed and referencing his undefeated boxing record from his Navy days, met Newton's threats with laughter. Despite this, the jokes eventually stopped, signaling a begrudging end to their public spat. Being the celebrated host of The Tonight Show, Johnny Carson found himself amid controversy on February 27, 1982, following an arrest for drunk driving on LA Cienega Boulevard, near the opulent neighborhoods of Beverly Hills. Known for his quick wit and charm on screen, this incident revealed a more vulnerable side of Carson to the public. Released on his recognizance, he later pleaded no contest to the charges. In a separate vein of Carson's life, marked by the levity of his show, was his penchant for humor that occasionally struck a sour note with his guests. One notable instance involved Raymond Burr, the iconic actor best known for his role as Perry Mason. Carson's ongoing jokes about Burr's weight created tension between the two, leading to a noticeable rift. Burr, expressing his displeasure, limited his appearances on The Tonight Show to just 2 visits, in 1968 and 1976. This response underscored the complex nature of Carson's relationships with his guests, where humor sometimes veered into personal sensitivity, revealing the delicate balance required in the interplay of comedic entertainment and personal respect. Besides, the king of late-night television not only entertained millions with his charm and wit but also found himself embroiled in controversies that highlighted his principles and the pressures of fame. Among these were his public disputes over loyalty and competition, which shed light on the complexities of relationships in the entertainment industry. In July 1969, Carson took a bold stance against the New York Times on air, challenging an article that pegged him as the highest-paid television performer with a weekly income of $75,000. Carson refuted this claim, though he kept the details of his actual earnings confidential. His reaction to the article was fierce, as he labeled it damned unfair, sparking a debate about media accuracy and celebrity privacy. The Times later conceded that their report might have been erroneous, acknowledging the sensitivities surrounding the financial compensation of television stars. Carson's sense of loyalty was deeply ingrained, a value that played a significant role in his relationships with fellow entertainers. He felt a keen sense of betrayal when Joan Rivers and John Davidson, who had both been frequent guest hosts on The Tonight Show, ventured to host their talk shows. Rivers' move was particularly stinging, as her show on the Fox network directly competed with Carson's during the 1986 to 1987 season, leading to a cessation of communication between Carson and Rivers. This fallout was emblematic of the intense competition and personal loyalties that characterized the late-night television landscape. It doesn't stop there. Johnny Carson, celebrated for his quick wit and influence as the host of The Tonight Show, occasionally found himself at the center of controversies that underscored the power of television in comedy. These incidents, ranging from unintended societal panic to the sensitive nature of parody, provide a nuanced look into Carson's legacy and the broader implications of humor in the public sphere. One of Carson's jokes inadvertently led to a nationwide toilet paper shortage in December 1973. By humorously claiming a shortage of toilet paper, Carson unknowingly triggered panic buying and hoarding, causing actual shortages that persisted for weeks. This event spiraled into a phenomenon that the New York Times later deemed a classic study in rumor proliferation. Carson's apology in January 1974 reflected the unexpected influence of televised humor on public behavior, highlighting the fine line between comedy and unintended consequences. Carson's iconic introduction, "Here's Johnny," became so synonymous with his persona that it led to a legal dispute when a manufacturer of portable toilets sought to capitalize on the catchphrase. Carson successfully sued to prevent the use of his catchphrase, underscoring the importance of protecting personal and professional trademarks in the entertainment industry. Carson's foray into parody also led to a poignant moment with Fred Rogers, the beloved host of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. After Carson performed a parody that Rogers felt misrepresented the depth and sincerity of his work, Rogers expressed his concern about being portrayed as wimpy. Carson's subsequent apology to Rogers underscores the complexities of parody and comedy, where humor must balance between satire and respect for the subject's original intent and dignity. If you are a loyal viewer of The Tonight Show, you are probably familiar with Johnny Carson's extroverted fun. Yet his off-camera persona starkly contrasted the vibrant and engaging character that millions tuned in to watch nightly on The Tonight Show. Johnny Carson, while a master of the stage and screen, navigated the world beyond the cameras with a notable sense of privacy and introversion. This duality presents a fascinating study of the complexities inherent in public life versus private existence. Carson was famously known as the most private public man who ever lived, a testament to his ability to maintain a deeply personal boundary despite his public career. His preference for avoiding large gatherings was well noted among his peers. Dick Cavett, a fellow entertainer and one of Carson's acquaintances, observed the visible discomfort Carson felt in social settings, expressing sympathy for his struggles with social interactions. George Axelrod further illuminated this aspect of Carson's personality by noting his near non-existence in social settings, attributing it to the absence of television cameras in private gatherings. This observation suggests that Carson thrived in the spotlight but found the personal dynamics of social interaction challenging. Carson's approach to his personal life and controversial topics was one of cautious privacy. He famously refrained from discussing politics, societal controversies, his upbringing, and intimate details of his life with the press. This reticence extended to interviews, where he was known to provide journalists with a list of pre-written answers, including responses as curt as "yes, I did," "no, I didn't," and humorously, "no, kumquats." This method of handling inquiries underscored his desire to keep his private life separate from his public persona, a stance that both intrigued and frustrated journalists and fans alike. In October 1982, he faced legal repercussions that momentarily cast a shadow over his storied career. After being arrested for driving with a blood alcohol level above the legal limit in February 1982, Carson found himself embroiled in a situation that contradicted the poised and controlled image he presented on The Tonight Show. This incident, which led to a no-contest plea to a misdemeanor count, revealed a rare glimpse into the vulnerabilities and personal challenges faced by Carson away from the spotlight. Following his arrest, Carson faced potential charges of driving under the influence and driving without a license. However, the prosecution decided to withdraw these charges, focusing instead on the count related to his blood alcohol level. The court's decision resulted in a $603 fine for Carson and a 3-year probation period. Additionally, municipal court judge David Kidney mandated Carson's participation in a driver's education alcohol program and imposed a 90-day restriction on his driver's license, limiting his travel to work-related activities and the mandated classes. Carson's legal strategy, influenced by his attorney Robert Shapiro, initially suggested a pathway to contest the charges in court. Shapiro, confident in the strength of their case, advised pursuing a trial. However, Carson, eager to avoid prolonging the media spectacle and public scrutiny, chose to accept the consequences and move forward. This decision underscored Carson's desire to maintain a degree of privacy and dignity, despite the public nature of his legal troubles. True to his character, Carson addressed the incident head-on during a monologue on The Tonight Show. In his remarks, he expressed regret over the situation and assured his audience that such an incident would not occur again. This moment of candor allowed Carson to acknowledge his mistake publicly, offering an apology to his viewers and taking responsibility for his actions. With incidents like that, you must be curious about what shaped Johnny Carson like that, right? Let's take a trip down memory lane and dive into the fascinating life of America's most beloved entertainers. Born on October 23, 1925, in the charming town of Corning, Iowa, Johnny Carson's journey from small-town boy to Hollywood icon is one for the books. Johnny Carson came into this world as the middle child in a loving family. His parents, Ruth Elizabeth and Homer Lloyd Kit Carson, provided a nurturing environment for Johnny and his siblings. With an older sister, Catherine, and a younger brother, Richard, Johnny grew up surrounded by love and laughter. As a young lad, Johnny's knack for entertainment began to shine through. Growing up in towns like Avoca, Clarinda, and Red Oak in southwest Iowa, he was no stranger to the spotlight. But it was in Norfolk, Nebraska, where Johnny truly started to hone his craft. At the tender age of 12, Johnny stumbled upon a book on magic, and his world was forever changed. With a mail-order magician's kit in hand, he dazzled his family with card tricks and sleight of hand. His catchphrase? Pick a card. Any card. It wasn't long before young Johnny, with a cape sewn by his dear mother, took to the stage as the great Carson. At just 14 years old, Johnny made his debut as a magician, captivating audiences with his talent and charm. From local Kiwanis Club gatherings to county fairs, Johnny's star was on the rise. And with each performance, his confidence and skill grew. After graduating from high school, Johnny Carson set his sights on the bright lights of Hollywood. Hitchhiking his way to Tinseltown, he was determined to make his mark. But his first encounter with Hollywood wasn't quite what he expected. In a twist of fate, Johnny found himself in hot water, slapped with a $50 fine for impersonating a midshipman. During World War II, Carson answered the call of duty and joined the United States Navy on June 8, 1943. His journey took him to Columbia University and Millsaps College, where he underwent officer training as part of the V-12 Navy College Training Program. Commissioned as an ensign towards the end of the war, Carson found himself aboard the USS Pennsylvania in the Pacific Theater. While serving in the Navy, Carson didn't just stick to his duties, he also laced up his gloves and stepped into the boxing ring. Posting an impressive amateur record of 15 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw, Carson showcased his fighting spirit aboard the Pennsylvania. Talk about serving up punches both in and out of the ring. But it wasn't just Carson's boxing prowess that caught attention. As a communications officer responsible for decoding messages, he found a way to weave his magic into the fabric of military life. His crowning moment? Performing a dazzling trick for none other than United States Secretary of the Navy James V. Forrestal. When Forrestal inquired about Carson's post-war plans, the young sailor didn't hesitate to share his dream of becoming a magician. And what better way to prove his skills than with a deck of cards? With a flick of his wrist and a twinkle in his eye, Carson wowed Forrestal with his sleight of hand. Carson's encounter with Forrestal wasn't just about magic, it was about the power of entertainment to transcend boundaries. In that moment, he showed that laughter knows no rank or title. After his service in the Navy, Carson seized the opportunity to further his education. Enrolling at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, he became a member of the Phi Gamma Delta fraternity and continued to dazzle audiences with his magic, now earning $25 per performance. Initially pursuing a major in journalism with dreams of becoming a comedy writer, Carson soon found himself drawn to a different path. Fueled by his passion for performance, he switched gears and shifted his focus to speech and drama. His sights were set on the world of radio, where he aspired to make a mark as a performer. In a stroke of brilliance, Carson crafted his college thesis around the art of comedic writing for radio. Titled How to Write Comedy for Radio, it was a creative blend of taped skits and jokes from popular radio shows, accompanied by Carson's insightful voice-over commentary. This innovative approach not only showcased Carson's talent but also earned him his degree in record time. In 1949, Carson proudly walked across the stage to receive his Bachelor of Arts degree in radio and speech, with a minor in physics. Armed with his newfound knowledge and skills, he was ready to take on the world of entertainment. As we look back on Carson's college years, we see a young man driven by ambition, creativity, and a relentless pursuit of his dreams. His time at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln was just the beginning of a legendary career that would span decades and bring joy to millions around the world. Johnny Carson's career was full of scandals, and his married life also faced many difficulties. He navigated a complex personal life alongside his celebrated career. His marriages, marked by moments of joy and periods of tumult, offer a glimpse into the private world of one of television's most enduring figures. Carson's first marriage to Jody Wolcott in October 1949 in North Platte, Nebraska, set the stage for his future encounters with love and heartache. The union was fraught with challenges, including mutual infidelities, reflecting the strains of a relationship under the spotlight. This tumultuous marriage concluded in 1963, setting Carson on a path of subsequent relationships and public scrutiny. In the same year his marriage to Wolcott ended, Carson sought a fresh start with Joanne Copeland. Their marriage, however, followed a similarly rocky trajectory, culminating in a protracted divorce in 1972. Copeland's settlement included a monthly alimony of $6,000, a stipulation that lasted until Carson died in 2005, alongside an art collection reflecting the financial and emotional complexities of their separation. Copeland's life after Carson included another marriage, a subsequent divorce, and her passing in 2015 at the age of 83, without children. Carson's third marriage to Joanna Holland, announced at The Tonight Show's 10th anniversary party in 1972, came as a surprise to many. Their secretive wedding underscored Carson's desire for privacy amidst his public persona. However, the marriage dissolved over a decade later, leading to a significant divorce settlement in 1985 that awarded Holland $20 million in cash and property, a testament to the high stakes of marital dissolutions in the public eye. In 1987, Carson married Alexis Moss, marking the beginning of a partnership that would endure until he died in 2005. This final marriage represented a period of stability and lasting affection in Carson's life, contrasting with the upheavals of his earlier relationships. Carson reportedly joked, "My giving advice on marriage is like the captain of the Titanic giving lessons on navigation." Of course, with his huge career, Johnny Carson was also considered indifferent to his family. Johnny Carson's ascent to stardom is a narrative filled with professional milestones and personal trials, particularly in balancing his burgeoning career with family life. The Carson family's relocation patterns mirrored Johnny's career trajectory, starting from his time in Los Angeles. There, Carson honed his skills, contributing as a writer for comedian Red Skelton and hosting his radio program, The Johnny Carson Show. Despite the early setback of his TV show's cancellation by CBS after just 8 months, Carson's career was far from over. The move to New York marked a turning point, where he initially served as a substitute host for quiz shows before securing the position of host for Who Do You Trust? In 1957. These professional advancements, however, came at a cost. As Carson's star rose, his first marriage to Jody Wolcott began to falter. The increasing demands of his career and his dedication to ascending in the television industry created a rift within the family. Jody's reflection on this period, noting Carson's preoccupation with his career at the expense of family time, highlights a common struggle for many on the path to success. Jody once said, "Like anybody else on the way up, he was too busy for us." This tension between professional ambition and personal responsibilities is a recurring theme in the lives of public figures, underscoring the difficult choices that accompany fame. Johnny Carson's family life with his first wife, Jody Wolcott, included 3 sons: Christopher, born in 1951, Richard, born in 1952, and Corey, born in 1953. The birth of his sons during the early years of his career marked a period of personal joy and professional growth for Carson. However, this familial happiness was not without its challenges, particularly as Carson's career demanded much of his time and attention. The tragic loss of Richard Carson, the middle son of Johnny Carson, marked a profoundly sorrowful chapter in the legendary television host's life. On June 21, 1991, Richard, often referred to as Rick, encountered a fatal accident near Cayucos, California. His journey, devoted to capturing the essence of landscapes and the natural world through photography, came to an abrupt and tragic end when his car veered off a service road adjacent to Highway 1 and tumbled down a steep embankment. This accident, believed to have occurred while Richard was possibly distracted by his passion for photography, resulted in the loss of a life that had just begun to explore the vast beauty of the natural world. This heartbreaking event brought an immense sense of loss to Carson and his family, casting a shadow over the comedic brilliance that Carson brought to millions of viewers nightly. The loss of a child is an unimaginable sorrow for any parent, and Johnny Carson was no exception. Despite his public persona as a man who could effortlessly bring joy to others, Carson privately navigated the profound grief of losing his son. At 39 years old, Rick Carson's talent for photography had become a significant part of his identity, as noted by the Los Angeles Times and further substantiated by the camera equipment found at the crash site. The official cause of the accident pointed to an unsafe turn, yet it was his zeal for capturing the moment that may have led to this moment of distraction. In the wake of this tragedy, Johnny Carson, a figure so familiar to the American public for his humor and wit, faced the unimaginable task of navigating his grief under the public eye. Taking a 4-week hiatus from The Tonight Show, Carson used his return to the screen not only as a moment of personal catharsis but as an opportunity to honor his son's memory and artistic vision. Sharing Rick's photographs with his audience, Johnny allowed the viewers a glimpse into the world through his son's eyes, underscored by the poignant melodies of Stevie Ray Vaughan's Riviera Paradise. The depth of Carson's loss and his desire to keep his son's memory alive was further exemplified in his last show on May 22, 1992. The program featured one of Richard's photographs as the final image of the show, as well as in some more to come. Bumpers, ensuring that Richard's artistic legacy became a part of Carson's farewell to a show that had defined American late-night television for decades. In his tribute, Carson shared reflections on Richard's character and the impact of his loss. His description of Richard's contagious laughter and earnest desire to please highlighted the profound bond between father and son. Carson's candidness about the grief he experienced and the lessons learned in the wake of such a loss resonated with viewers. Overcoming all the ups and downs and the pain of losing his child, Johnny Carson could not overcome himself. Johnny Carson, an icon whose wit and charm defined an era of late-night television, faced significant health challenges in his later years, culminating in a battle with emphysema that ultimately led to his passing in 2005. His journey from the pinnacle of entertainment to his quiet battle with illness paints a poignant picture of the man behind the laughter. Carson's health took a dramatic turn on March 19, 1999, when he suffered a severe heart attack at his Malibu home. The subsequent quadruple bypass surgery marked the beginning of a challenging period in Carson's life, highlighting the toll that decades of heavy smoking had taken on his body. Known for lighting up Pall Mall cigarettes on camera during the early days of The Tonight Show, Carson's smoking habit had once reached up to 4 packs a day. Despite recognizing the dangers, admitting in the mid-1970s that these things are killing me, the addiction was a difficult battle to overcome. In their last conversation, Carson lamented to his younger brother of the detrimental effects of cigarettes, a regret echoed by many who have struggled with smoking. In 2002, Carson chose to step back from the public eye, declining an offer to appear at NBC's 75th anniversary celebration. Later that year, he publicly disclosed his diagnosis of emphysema, a condition directly linked to his years of smoking, though he refuted claims that he was terminally ill. However, his health continued to deteriorate, and on January 23, 2005, Johnny Carson passed away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles due to respiratory failure arising from emphysema. In line with his family's wishes, his body was cremated, and his ashes were given to his wife, Alexis Moss, with no public memorial service held. Despite his struggles and the somber circumstances of his final years, Carson's legacy as a pioneering figure in television remains undisputed. Tributes poured in from across the nation, including a statement from then-President George W. Bush reflecting the deep affection and respect held for Carson. His influence extended beyond the screen, touching the lives of viewers who found solace, laughter, and a sense of connection in his nightly appearances. His contributions to entertainment are indelibly etched in the history of American television, serving as a testament to his talent, resilience, and the enduring power of humor to unite and heal. If you are a fan of Johnny Carson, please leave your love for Johnny Carson below in the comments section. For more untold stories and hidden truths, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated on our latest videos. Until next time, keep questioning and searching, and never stop uncovering the secrets beneath the surface. See you in the next videos.